Hey guys, I wanted to do a brief pedalboard walkthrough / update video. I'm about to change a few things out on my board that, while they seem small, are actually pretty big in their impact in how I program the board and operate it on a day-to-day basis. Jumping right in, the brain of the board is the Mastermind PBC by RJM Music Technology down there at the bottom. That is controlling all of my loops, all my dry effects, as well as looping my wet effects and sending Midi messages and Midi clock to both of the Strymon pedals. So starting right to left right now, my dry effects go Del Mar, SP Compressor, EP, Morning Glory, GTO, and a pitch bay by Earthquaker Devices. So those are my first 6 loops. Then 7 and 8 are stereo and parallel, so the timeline and the Big Sky are set up that way. Then I've got 9 is the Flint, which I pretty much just use for tremolo, and then my Neunaber slate up there, which I'm also using this EXP controller to go through the 8 presets on that currently. So up until now, there was no way for me to program the PBC to control that. But lucky for me, Disaster Area just came out with this little guy, the Disaster Area NNB, which stands for Neunaber Bridge. If it wants to focus on it. Come on. There we go. The Neunaber Bridge. So this is going to allow me to replace my EXP controller, so I can run Midi in and the Cat5 cable out, and I also have a multi-jack here, and eliminate the need for the EXP controller and send Midi messages to change my Neunaber. And the other pedal that I'm pretty excited about is this guy, the Chase Bliss Brothers. And the cool thing about the Disaster Area NNB is the multi-jack can send Midi to this as well. So I'm going to swap out the Del Mar for this and add the Neunaber bridge and be able to program both this and my Neunaber with my Mastermind. So I got to make a few cables and update some things, but once I get it set up, I will show you guys some of the functionality. So right now it's cable making time. Okay, so we're all finished up with our wiring. One thing I did notice was that the Neunaber bridge, if you're going to pass Midi through the multi-jack port here, you need to power it with USB. So I'm using this little output on my Mastermind PBC to give it enough power. The Expanse series doesn't have enough juice to power it if you're going to use it that way. So normally, if you're familiar with the Expanse series, you utilize one of these, and this is what I had before, an EXP controller, which gives you 4 different effects and then 2 presets per effect, so essentially kind of like 8 presets. But before, I had to hit these buttons in order to cycle through them, and my Mastermind couldn't send messages to it, so keeping all that managed was kind of a hassle. So along came Disaster Area and coming out with this little box here that made my life so much simpler. So you can press the button, and there's a couple different modes, but the way I have it set up is it'll just cycle through all of the effects, all like 8 of them, thinking in a row, and or it can take Midi from here. So I've set up a little test song in my Mastermind with some different presets to show you how that works. So I'll do a quick walkthrough of this. I don't want to go too in depth with this. I know there's a lot of other tutorials out there, but basically I have it in preset mode, and I've got 4 presets set up here for this song called Test. My second button page, if you're familiar with the Mastermind, everything's laid out in button pages, so is my loops. So I have the brothers on here and the slate on here indicating with this LED lit up. And then my third button page is my MIDI setup page that I use to send PC messages to all my MIDI pedals. So now this one is the Flint, so, or no, I'm sorry, not the Flint, the slate up and down, the Big Sky, preset up, down, timeline, preset up, down, and then now the brothers, preset up, preset down. And I can press and hold this button on any one of those pages to save. So that's the setup. So this first one, you'll see I have the brothers and the slate on here. And the brothers is in, so it's in PC 0. So that means whatever you're seeing on the layout over there, it's in live mode. So, let's see. Let's see, I think I had the delay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that's the delay on the Neunaber and just some overdrive from the brothers. So. Okay, so let's say that I wanted to get a little more drive on that tone. So if I come up here, I think my first preset is both overdrives together, so I'm going to PC up to 1, and you see both lights came on the brothers. So okay, so that's how that works, and if I wanted to save it, I would just press and hold, and there that sound is saved. So moving on to this next one, you'll see I have the chorus, and the Neunaber bridge is the blue lights, because my blue effect is chorus. So it's... right, so you get the idea there. And then the next one is my shimmer patch. Again, the light's now green, so you can see that it's changing effects. And then I think this one was the wet patch. Yeah. And you can, oh, oops, I accidentally turned off my slate. That was like, it didn't sound like much reverb. So there, add it back in, and now, there we go. So, if I wanted to change that patch, and so let's say I wanted to go back to the delay, I can go down to my delay, and you'll see the colors are changing there, and save that. So there you go. And then let's real quickly make a patch on the brothers. So I think the last one I have is 6, yeah, which is like kind of like a crazy not that crazy, but a fuzz sound. So let's say I wanted an overdrive on the one side and then a boost on the other. Let's turn both those on and see how it sounds. There we go. You have to flip the switch or it won't read the setting. Okay, let's say I want more overdrive than that, so let's bring the drive up, master down. And then let's say I wanted this to be A into B, so. Okay, so I like that sound. So all we have to do is hold down both buttons and send it a PC change. Okay, so that should now be number 5. So it was, here's that fuzz sound. And then the overdrive, the boost into the overdrive like we just made. So if I want to save that, press and hold, and here's my patch I had before, my shimmer patch, and then now that quote unquote lead tone I made. So it's just as easy as that. I can't give enough credit to the guys at Disaster Area. Adding this to my pedal board is huge for me. I don't have to manage my EXP anymore, or worry about what presets it's on, and remembering to change that, and giving the ability to add the brothers and MIDI into that in one very small box is like super cool. So I've been dying for something like this since I've had the Mastermind, just to be able to control everything, because I like to lay out my songs in my set list, like intro, verse, chorus, and so any buttons I have to hit outside of that is kind of a pain, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I didn't want to go too in-depth into the use of these pedals, just sort of how they work together, but there's tons of information on Neunabers and Chase Bliss and the RJM stuff on the internet. So this is just kind of bringing those together into one universe. So hopefully this helps somebody if you're thinking about adding either a Chase Bliss or a Neunaber to your board, and you have a MIDI controller like this or a Disaster Area. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it was helpful.